My name is Ince-Christopher, and this lesson is for grade levels 6 to 8 or forms 1 to 3. Students may or may not have been exposed to gardening and growing plants, but would have explored the parts of a plant and what plants need to grow. It's a science, botany, STEM lesson. The instructional plan is on hydroponics, growing plants without soil. The lesson will explore the basic needs of plants and will build on the students' knowledge. It will introduce learners to the field of growing in a nutrient solution instead of soil. Students will actually design and build a small hydroponic unit. They will be assessed on what they know about growing plants, what they research and are exposed to during the lesson. Materials needed for this lesson will include YouTube videos, handouts, a link to the University of Florida hydroponic greenhouse for a virtual field trip, a computer projector, as well as all of the materials that the students are going to need to build the unit. This is a 6-week lesson. To get the class started, the learners will talk about what plants need to grow. After watching a short YouTube video on hydroponics played, and another discussion held on what they learned in the video, and if after thinking about their previous answer they wish to modify them in any way. A lesson on the history and environmental impact and careers in hydroponics will be presented with the use of a presentation video and pictures. The information will also be presented to students via handout. The topic will thus be introduced with multiple means of representation of the information. Because one size doesn't fit all, and engagement is necessary to participate and learn, when designing their hydroponic unit, learners will not be limited in the media that they employ. They may choose to draw the unit to scale, use cardboard or paper to build a model, write step-by-step notes, or with the use of pictures from the web, they might decide to modify something someone else built. They may also choose to create a podcast with all the steps. After 30 minutes of individual designing, learners will be encouraged to move around the class and look at the designs of their peers. During the entire design and build process, the teacher would be available for any questions they might have pertaining to their design or the design of their classmates. This will allow students to reflect on what they did as compared to their peers and ask questions why and come to a decision to modify their design. Students will then be placed in 6 groups using a dice. Each student will throw the die and join the group number thrown. This may take about 10 minutes to evenly divide the class. They will then collaborate for another 20 minutes to agree on one design that they will build. Students will again have to reflect on why certain items were put into the final design and record these decisions. After building, students will be given basil seeds and hydroponic solution to start growing in their system. The unit would be hooked up to an air pump if necessary. Students will monitor and record what's happening with the units and the plants. The recording can be done in whatever way they see fit. So they might decide on video, pictures with notes. They may decide on weekly podcast, journal or blog, whichever media with which they are most comfortable. Learners will be assessed in the following 3 ways. A show and tell presentation at the end of the 6-week period, when the plants, once successful, should have grown to about 3 inches tall. Students will reflect on what they enjoyed and why, what they didn't like and why, what went wrong, what went right, and why. Submission of their weekly observation via document, video, or sound. For the last class in this lesson, learners will come with at least 3 questions after reflection and research for discussion. The wrap-up session will focus on what they learned during the session and how it relates to science, technology, engineering, and math. The teacher will relate the lesson to the nitrogen cycle, technical drawing, scales and ratios, and the biology of plants. This will be a flipped classroom, and so homework will not be assigned. But to prepare for the lesson, students will be required to conduct research, maintain their logs, and reflect on what they are doing and reading to be able to formulate questions.